There is a secret that Napoleon Hill spent 20 years of his life uncovering. A secret whispered to him by Andrew Carnegie, tested through 500 interviews with the most powerful minds of his era, and distilled into a truth so profound it has shaped millions of lives. That secret is this: you must think like a millionaire long before you ever become one. Not hope like one, not wish like one, think like one. Because wealth is not an accident. It is not luck. It is not given to the chosen few. Wealth is the inevitable result of a specific way of thinking, a mental blueprint that exists in the mind before it ever manifests in the bank account. Napoleon Hill discovered that every single person who accumulated great wealth thought in a particular way. They saw what others could not see. They believed what others refused to believe. And they acted when others were paralyzed by doubt. The difference between the rich and the poor is not talent, not education, not even opportunity. The difference is thought. The millionaire mind operates on a frequency that the average mind cannot detect. And until you tune into that frequency, you will remain locked outside the gates of abundance, no matter how hard you work. Let that sink in. You can hustle 18 hours a day. You can sacrifice everything. But if your mind is wired for limitation, your results will always reflect that programming. Hill called it the starting point of all achievement, definiteness of purpose. You must know exactly what you want. Not kind of, not maybe. Exactly. The universe does not respond to vague wishes. It responds to burning desire backed by unwavering faith. When you decide with absolute certainty what you will achieve, when you write it down, when you see it so clearly in your mind that it becomes more real than your current circumstances, something shifts. The invisible forces of the universe begin to align in your favor. But here is where most people fail. They think about wealth for a moment, maybe a day, maybe a week. Then doubt creeps in. Fear whispers. Reality punches them in the face and they retreat back into the safety of mediocrity. Napoleon Hill warned about this. He said the majority of people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. But the millionaire mind does not retreat. It doubles down. It sees obstacles as tests, not stop signs. Every rejection, every failure, every closed door is simply the universe asking, how bad do you want it? Think about this. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he created the light bulb. 10,000 times. Do you know what he did on attempt 10,001? He tried again. That is not stubbornness. That is faith. Faith so strong it cannot be shaken by circumstances. Faith that whispers in the dark, I know this is mine. I know I will succeed. It is only a matter of time. That faith is not given. It is built. It is cultivated through repetition, through daily mental discipline, through refusing to let the opinions of others define your reality. Napoleon Hill studied Henry Ford. He studied John D. Rockefeller. He studied the giants of industry, and he found one common thread. They all possessed an unshakable belief in their own ability to achieve whatever they set their mind to. Not because they were special, not because they were lucky, but because they had conditioned their minds to reject failure as a permanent condition. They saw failure as feedback, as stepping stones on the path to inevitable success. When you adopt this mindset, when you truly internalize it, you become unstoppable. Not because you never fall, but because you never stay down. Now listen carefully. You cannot think like a millionaire while surrounding yourself with poverty consciousness. You cannot rise while listening to the fears of people who never dared to dream. Napoleon Hill spoke about the mastermind principle. He said that when two or more minds come together in harmony toward a definite purpose, they create a third invisible force. A power greater than the sum of its parts. This is why millionaires surround themselves with other ambitious, successful, forward-thinking individuals. Not for networking, for energy, for belief, for protection against the dream killers. Because make no mistake, the world is full of people who will try to kill your dreams. Not out of malice, out of fear. They see you rising and it reminds them of their own limitations. They see you believing and it highlights their own doubt. So they tell you to be realistic, to play it safe, to settle. And if you listen, if you allow their fear to become your truth, you will die with your dreams still locked inside you. Hill said it plainly. Opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Everyone has a flock of opinions, ready to be wished upon anyone who will accept them. Do not accept them. Guard your mind like a fortress. Your mind is the most valuable asset you will ever own. Not your car, not your house, your mind. Because everything you will ever create, everything you will ever build, everything you will ever become starts there. In the silent laboratory of thought, Napoleon Hill called this the workshop of the mind. It is where steel is forged. It is where empires are blueprinted. It is where the invisible becomes visible. And you must treat it with reverence. You must feed it with the right books, the right ideas, the right influences. You must starve it of negativity, doubt, and fear. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone, you must program your mind. Hill recommended writing down your definite chief aim and reading it aloud with emotion, with conviction, with absolute faith. Not once, every single day. Why? Because repetition is the mother of skill. And faith is a skill. Belief is a skill. Millionaire thinking is a skill that must be practiced until it becomes automatic, until it becomes who you are. You see, Napoleon Hill understood something that most people never grasp. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity. If deep down you still see yourself as someone who struggles, someone who barely gets by, someone who is not worthy of wealth, then no strategy will save you. No opportunity will stick. You will unconsciously sabotage yourself every single time. But when you change your identity, when you begin to see yourself as a millionaire in the making, as someone who creates value, as someone who commands wealth, your actions change. Your decisions change. Your entire reality changes. Napoleon Hill spent decades studying this phenomenon, and he discovered something that will shake you to your core. He found that the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real experience and one vividly imagined with emotion. Read that again. Your subconscious mind, the part of you that controls 95% of your behavior, cannot distinguish between what is real and what you imagine with feeling. This is not philosophy. This is neuroscience before neuroscience had a name. This is the secret behind every fortune ever built from nothing. When you close your eyes and see yourself living in abundance, when you feel the weight of success in your chest, when you taste the victory before it arrives, you are not daydreaming. You are programming. You are sending instructions to the most powerful computer ever created, the human mind. And that mind will go to work day and night, consciously and unconsciously, to turn that image into reality. Hill called this autosuggestion. The process of feeding your subconscious mind with thoughts of wealth, success, and achievement until those thoughts become beliefs, and those beliefs become actions, and those actions become results. But here is the critical part that most people miss. You must combine this mental work with massive, relentless, intelligent action. Napoleon Hill never said sit around and visualize wealth into existence. He said think like a millionaire, believe like a millionaire, and then act like a millionaire. Action is the bridge between the invisible world of thought and the visible world of results. Without action, all the faith in the world is nothing but fantasy. But with action, faith becomes fuel. It becomes the force that carries you through every storm, every setback, every moment when quitting seems like the only rational choice. Andrew Carnegie told Napoleon Hill something that changed everything. He said the men who succeed are the men who have developed the habit of doing what failures don't like to do. Let that land. Success is not about doing extraordinary things. It is about doing ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. It is about waking up every single day and choosing discipline over comfort. It is about saying no to distractions when everyone else is saying yes. It is about investing in yourself when everyone else is consuming. The millionaire mind understands delayed gratification. It plants seeds today knowing the harvest may not come for years. Most people want the result without the process. They want the mansion, but not the late nights. They want the empire, but not the risk. They want the glory, but not the grind. And that is why most people stay broke. Not financially broke, mentally broke, spiritually broke. They have given up on their dreams before they even gave them a real chance. Napoleon Hill saw this pattern everywhere. He watched people quit 3 feet from gold. He watched people abandon their burning desire the moment it got uncomfortable. And he warned us, before success comes in any person's life, they are sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. Temporary defeat, not permanent. Temporary. The millionaire mind sees every failure as temporary, as a lesson, as proof that you are in the game. Because let me tell you something that nobody wants to hear. If you are not failing, you are not trying hard enough. You are playing it safe. You are living below your potential. And the graveyard is full of people who played it safe, who listened to fear, who never bet on themselves. Do not join them. Do not let fear rob you of the life you were meant to live. Napoleon Hill said it clearly. There is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it. Burning desire, not a casual want, not a passing interest, a desire so intense it consumes you, a desire that keeps you awake at night and wakes you up in the morning with fire in your chest. That is the starting point. That is the fuel that powers every millionaire mind. And you must protect that desire like your life depends on it, because it does. Your life, your legacy, your contribution to this world, all of it hinges on whether you keep that flame alive or let it die. Now here is where it gets real. Napoleon Hill taught that you must be willing to burn the ships. You must be willing to commit so fully to your vision that retreat is not an option. When Cortez landed in Mexico, he ordered his men to burn the ships. Why? Because when there is no plan B, plan A becomes inevitable. The millionaire mind does not have a backup plan. It does not hedge. It does not keep one foot in the old life while testing the new. It goes all in. It says, this is my path, and I will walk it until I reach the destination, or I die trying. That level of commitment scares most people. But it is the only level of commitment that produces extraordinary results. You want to know why most people never become millionaires? It is not because they lack intelligence. It is not because they lack opportunity. It is because they lack persistence. Napoleon Hill identified persistence as one of the most essential factors in translating desire into its monetary equivalent. Persistence is not talent. It is not luck. It is decision. It is the decision to keep moving forward when everything in you wants to quit. It is the decision to take one more step when your legs are shaking. It is the decision to believe when every piece of evidence says you should give up. Hill told the story of R.U. Darby, a man who quit gold mining 3 feet from one of the richest veins ever discovered. 3 feet. He gave up. He sold his equipment. And the man who bought it struck gold within days. That story is not just about gold. It is about life. It is about how close you are right now to everything you have ever wanted. But you will never know how close you are unless you keep going. The millionaire mind keeps going. It does not measure progress by days or weeks. It measures progress by commitment, by showing up, by refusing to let circumstances dictate destiny. And here is the final truth that Napoleon Hill embedded into every page of his work. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you wealth. No government, no lottery, no inheritance will do for you what you must do for yourself. You must think it. You must believe it. You must become it. The millionaire life is not a destination. It is a transformation. It is the shedding of an old identity and the claiming of a new one. It is the death of excuses and the birth of excellence. So make the choice right here, right now. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. You will never feel ready. The millionaire mind does not wait for readiness. It creates readiness through action. It builds confidence through repetition. It earns belief through discipline. Think like a millionaire today. Not tomorrow, today. Decide what you want with absolute clarity. Write it down. Speak it out loud. See it in your mind with such intensity that it becomes more real than your current reality. Then, move. Act, execute, fail, learn, adjust, and do it all again tomorrow. Because this is not a game. This is your one life, your one shot, your one chance to become everything you were designed to be. Napoleon Hill spent 2 decades proving that anyone, anywhere, with any background can achieve wealth if they master their mind. The tools are in your hands. The power is in your thoughts. The future is waiting for the version of you who refuses to settle, who refuses to quit, who refuses to die with the music still inside. Think like a millionaire. Live like a millionaire. And watch the universe bend reality to match the vision you hold in your mind. That is the secret. That is the promise. That is your birthright. Now go claim it.